What exactly does a UX writer do? And what are their primary responsibilities on the job? In this video, we're going to dive into that and more. My name is Josh, and I'm the founder of Technical Writer HQ, and I have over 10 years of experience in technical writing. And I'm going to use this experience to help you understand what UX writers and technical writers who are looking to specialize as UX writers do, and we'll go over what the job entails, what the typical responsibilities look like, what qualifications and skills are required to do it right. And of course, because I know many of you guys always ask this question, we'll also go over salary estimates to give you guys an idea of how much a UX writer can make per year. Because I know many writers are trying to move in the field to make more money. And before we dive into all that though, take a moment to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and activate the notifications by hitting that bell icon, and that way you won't miss any of our future videos and will always be first in line to receive great instructional content about technical writing from writing experts. Now let's go ahead and get started here. So who is a UX writer? First of all, a UX writer designs and writes copy for the brand or organization they're working with. However, this particular copy is designed and written for the sole purpose of improving the UX and UI of a product, website, or any other element where user experience matters. UX writers also assist in content strategy design because they understand design elements, timelines, and goals, and can figure out the best approach to messaging. They also take an active part in user experience research to determine what the target audience is actually looking for. Furthermore, UX writers provide style guide contributions because they understand how the product needs to be portrayed on all fronts. Working with the product marketing team, UX writers also help in messaging and positioning strategy planning. Last but not least here, they help in cross-team collaboration and influence to ensure all relevant teams are on the same page. And now that we have a basic idea of who a UX writer is and what they do, let's go ahead and break down their responsibilities and their day-to-day. And we'll do this starting with what it means to design and write copy. Regardless of what product, service, or organization they're working for, and most part it's usually SaaS companies or any type of company that has an app, UX writers have to create content design that will help determine what kind of content will be shown on different mediums and how it will be shown. So what does this mean? Well, it can include website copy, product descriptions even, product CTAs, or any other form of content. Because of that, UX writers also have to write copy that enhances the user interface. Since UX and UI need to work closely together, UX writers also have to ensure that their writing complements the UI, providing customers with ultimately better experiences. Furthermore, UX writers work with product designers to build the right strategy to approach customers. That means getting the right feedback and information to write copy that helps customers in their product experience. Along with that, they also ensure they're sticking to a singular brand voice that aligns with the brand goals, vision, mission, and the product. And last but not least, UX writers have to ensure uniformity in their writing style and word choice on all mediums in order to make sure that the product and brand have the same style throughout. And here I want to show you a pretty straightforward example of how UX writing makes an impact. This is an example from Google, and it shows us how to properly display errors. Now picture this. You make an account on a website. You set up a unique password for it, but forget to save it in your browser or anywhere else. And I'm sure we've all been there. You try to log into that website after a week, but when you type in your details and hit enter, it shows you the error on the left side in this picture. You see that there's a failure and that the website is telling you there's an authentication error. This is extremely vague for any user since you don't know whether the error is due to a wrong password, email ID, your internet connection, or if it's a server-side issue. Now let's assume that you think you're entering the right password and feel it's another issue. You keep entering that password and you exhaust your login attempts and your account gets locked. This is bad UX. Alternatively, if you get the error on the right, that tells you that you've entered an incorrect password. You immediately know the issue and you try to remember what password you entered, what variations to try, and if you need to use the forgot password feature. That is what UX writing is all about, making the user experience better and more helpful. And there we have it. I just gave an example of a simple error and how UX can greatly improve that experience. All the calls to action you see on websites, blogs, and social media are part of UX writing. Interface hints that pop up while you're using a software or website are another example. Then even the menu design and navigation panel in software and websites are designed to improve the user experience. Any supporting content you see, such as subheadings with explanations or small one-line explanations when you hover over a button, are also part of UX writing. The notifications you get are also designed to help improve your experience. Other than that, the conversational UIs you see in various chats that provide typical answers, corrections, and suggestions are also part of the UX. Last but not least, subtle prompts that you see in different places, such as an example in the search bar of a website, again are part of UX writing. And here are a couple of more examples. In this example, you can see how simplifying the word usage can get the same point across much faster with clarity. Now here's another example where we see a measurable impact. Changing book a room to check availability made a huge difference in click-through rates. And depending on the size of the company and the product that you're selling and the services that you're selling, this can ultimately lead to millions of dollars in additional revenue with just some simple text changes. Moving on to the second most important responsibility of UX writers, they play an active role in the content strategy design. The content strategy ensures that all the content related to the product, service, or brand achieves the same goals and objectives. And that's why UX writers ultimately have to collaborate with stakeholders to ensure that all parties are on the same page. Those stakeholders usually include content strategists and product strategists who help work on the product design experience. That includes key design elements, timelines, goals, flows, and messaging to craft a content strategy that answers all the consumer's questions and needs. UX writers then have to ensure the smooth execution of the content design and strategy, making sure it works on all fronts. Another major responsibility of a UX writer is to conduct user experience research. This means they have to use quantitative and qualitative research techniques to learn as much as they can about past, current, and potential user experiences. The idea is to get first-hand reactions from users and customers to determine what they want. UX writers then have to present their research to stakeholders and show them what changes need to be made to the UX UI design process and their strategies. Then they have to apply their learnings to the strategies in place or develop new ones if needed. Next on the list is style guide contribution. Since UX writers need to understand the product and brand from the inside out, they're usually responsible for creating and updating the writing style guide of the brand. That means they have to create a uniform guide for all forms of writing, editing, and designing related to the product and the brand. In that regard, they develop new guidance based on any relevant changes in product or industry updates. UX writers also use feedback from others, including other in-house writers, designers, and product stakeholders. Most importantly, they have to ensure UX guidelines are always updated and that they accurately reflect the brand, product, and organization. Moving on here, UX writers have to play an active role in the messaging and positioning strategy of products. And that's why they have to collaborate with product marketing teams in order to figure out the best way to showcase the product and what the best approach is to marketing it. In that regard, they help position products and their features in a way that helps maximize the user experience. Furthermore, they ensure the execution of strong UI messaging to make sure customers are taken care of throughout the experience lifecycle. For that, UX writers also tend to provide feedback and consulting to other product stakeholders to ensure everyone is on the same page, while making sure the final customer receives the best possible experience. Last on the list of responsibilities for UX writers is that they need to ensure cross-team collaboration and exert their influence on all fronts. That means they need to influence and consult on customer communication beyond UI and UX. Since UX writers understand the brand, voice, and the customers extremely well, they can assist in writing emails, guides, text messages, articles, and even chat replies. Copywriters, content writers, and marketers can run their content through the UX writer to ensure it follows a style guide, voice, and the essence of the brand. And that's why UX writers need to consistently help customer experience designers and marketing teams in developing all forms of content, ensuring that it adds to the user experience. Now let's go ahead and talk about the skills needed to be successful managing these responsibilities. It goes without saying that you need excellent writing skills to get started. But other than that, UX writers need user research and strategy skills because it helps them in researching what customers want and adjust their learnings in the content and brand strategies. Other than that, they also need excellent UI design skills so they can put the entire user experience together. Responsive web design skills are also important so UX writers can work their magic while keeping various design displays in mind. And moving on here, UX writers also need wireframing and prototyping skills so they can test their work and strategies to ensure the best user experience. Now on the soft skills side, UX writers need team and stakeholder management skills because they need to work with various product stakeholders, UI teams, marketing teams, and more. And this may be something like working with a marketing team to ensure that the new copy that you suggested converts at a higher rate or leads to a better customer journey for the user or customer. And they also need project management skills to keep the entire UX process running smoothly. Last but not least, of course, excellent collaboration and communication skills are essential for UX writers as a lot of their responsibility revolves around communication and feedback. Now let's go ahead and move on to the qualifications needed to become a UX writer. While these qualifications can vary depending on the industry, organization, and your location, it's best to have the following in order to increase your chances of being a successful UX writer. So first and foremost, almost every organization will ask for experience in UX design, UX copywriting, content strategy, brand strategy, and customer experience design. Similarly, they'll also expect you to have creative writing experience, including copywriting, digital marketing, and even journalism in some cases. On that note, having prior experience in developing style guides also helps. In addition, having experience working with product stakeholders is a huge plus and very important since companies will need you to collaborate with others who play an important role in the product development process and lifecycle. And of course, UX writers need to have the ability to learn new subject matters quickly because that's the only way they can recommend a better experience is if you really understand what the company's offering. And they need to be able to take feedback from customers and users and ultimately contribute towards a collaborative environment. Now, organizations may ask for experience in developing brand guidelines, style guides, and voice. It shows that you have what it takes to not only understand, but also develop and update any brand's writing styles and guidelines while maintaining the brand voice. An understanding of various research techniques, including quantitative and qualitative techniques, and how to analyze the data that you get from them is also important since that's how you can accurately commit to user experience research. Furthermore, knowledge of UX principles and design thinking is also important because knowledge of theory is equally as important as practical experience. Last but not least here, experience with other forms of writing, including blogs, emails, guides, and marketing material is also important as it helps UX writers ensure a uniform writing style throughout the organization. Knowing the responsibilities, duties, skills, and qualifications of a UX writer might have you wondering how much they earn, right? And you may be watching this video wanting to become a UX writer in order to make more money as a writer. Well, the average UX writer salary in the US is currently $112,726. And that is way above the national average. The typical salary is between $80,000 and $159,000, which should give you an idea of how lucrative it is to become a UX writer rather than other types of positions like proofreaders and copywriters. These salary ranges are determined by the writer's overall experience, of course, expertise, location, and the organization they're working in. However, considering that it starts at a solid $80K means that even the lowest paid UX writers earn above the national average. Last year, the top 3 US cities where UX writers are paid the most include San Francisco, Seattle, and New York. Basically the hubs where tech companies are based. And this average salary figure, I took it from Glassdoor, where they do tons of reviews. So it is pretty accurate because they look at lots and lots of data in order to come up with this. And you also find more data on Glassdoor, such as that for a senior UX writer, UX designer, or UX writer lead, where the pay is going to be probably a lot higher. And keep in mind to adjust the factors on Glassdoor when you're looking there to get an idea of what the average salary looks like. So we have location, industry, company, and again, a lot more. It's the reason why companies like Google and Uber tend to pay their UX writers a lot more than other companies. Another filter you can use is the company size filter that lets you select how many employees work at a company. This helps get an idea of how much of an effect company size has on the average UX writer's salary. And there you have it. We learned everything about what a UX writer does and the responsibilities, as well as their required skills, qualifications, and a potential salary. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to go ahead and like the video, subscribe to our channel. Again, my name is Josh. I'm the founder of Technical Writer HQ. And I'd love to see you on some of our following videos where we teach you about how to level up your career as a technical writer. And if you're interested in improving your UX writing skills, make sure to go ahead and check out our certification courses on technicalwriterhq.com. And again, if you have any questions, make sure to just drop them in the comments and I'll be sure to answer. Cheers.